Hello.
Then. Now.
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, and welcome to episode number 130, I believe, of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for SmackDown, the 4th of April, 2025. We're back from the European tour. This is the... I think it's in Chicago. Yeah, April 4th episode of SmackDown. Last week, we saw the Gauntlet match, which saw Sami Zayn punch his ticket to a World Championship match. He will challenge Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. We also had Dakota Kai returning. She got her revenge on Candice LeRae. That match was made official for WrestleMania. And tonight we've got a whole lot more, including Randy Orton versus Alex Shelley. We also have... What was the other matches I announced? It was so long ago, I can't remember. Let me click next week here. Oh, Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser against the Creed Brothers, and Kofi Kingston versus Penta. And a whole lot more. So yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We kick off the night. Sami Zayn makes his way out to the ring to a big pop. And he's into the crowd. The crowd's chanting for Sami. Sami, Sami, you deserve it, all that. He goes, no, I don't deserve it. We all deserve it. And I see throughout my time here in WWE, a lot of people thought they'd come to know me and know what I am. They knew Sami Zayn as this or that or this guy who's not going to quite reach the top. And then I did reach the top. I had to change the narrative around me to keep putting me down and trying to pretend that I can't get to the top. And when I got to the top, I did come up short, and my reign as WWE Champion was rather short-lived. And that's why I made it a mission, I made it a vow to get back to the top at WrestleMania this year. And last week, there was a gauntlet match. A gauntlet match with some incredible competitors in it, where the winner would challenge Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41. And I did it. But first of all, before I get into myself, there's one guy I do want to shout out, and that's Buster Gates. You know, Buster, he held it down for a long-ass time in that gauntlet match, and truth be told, if I'd have come out here and Buster was still, you know, in the ring, waiting for me, I honestly don't know if I'd have been going to WrestleMania, because it was his time. He made the most of that opportunity, and Buster, let me tell you this, one day you and I will be in this ring, and we'll be going at it one-on-one for the World Heavyweight Championship. But the Hurt Business tried to put their little hired goon Ricochet in that gauntlet match, and I kicked his head off yet again. And now I'm going to WrestleMania. And this time, when I walk into WrestleMania and I become the world champion for the second time, this time, this reign is not going to be so uneventful. This reign is not going to be a stepping stone for a bigger, more dominant champion to walk all over me. This is going to be my championship reign that we all deserve. And the only man taking it off me will be if they are good enough to do so. That's when MVP comes out. Because, man, Sammy, I hate that it came to this, but I'm hearing you out here yapping, and quite frankly, it feels valid. Shut your dumb ass up. Now listen, you can gaslight all these people here all you want into thinking that you're going to be the man at going to WrestleMania. You're going to be the man who becomes the WWE Champion at WrestleMania, but you're not, Sammy. You see, 4 years ago, when you were King of the Ring and you went to SummerSlam and you beat him, pointing at Joe at the announce table, to become champion, you beat up a guy who was months away from hanging up his boots and putting on a headset full time. At WrestleMania this year, you're facing the almighty Bobby Lashley, the most dominant World Heavyweight Champion in years. A man who fought 4 years just as long as you did to get to the top. And he didn't have to scratch and claw and whine about getting to the top. No, he took the opportunity when the opportunity was there for the taking, and now the Almighty rests atop the throne here on SmackDown. But Sami, hey, like I've said for weeks, I've been trying to tell you, don't do this, because I do like you, Sami. You know, you're a great guy, and I'm sure one day again you will be world champion once again, but WrestleMania ain't that night. WrestleMania is our night. It's the Hurt Business's night. It's the Almighty's night. Look at all the names that Bobby Lashley has put down. Sami Zayn, do you really think you've got what it takes to be the next, the one to stop that, or you think you're just going to be the next on that list? And Sami Zayn goes, you're right, P. I don't think I can beat Bobby Lashley. I know I can beat Bobby Lashley. And P goes, again, I'm giving you the chance to think about what you're doing here, but since you want to be a dumbass, your ass is going to get beaten like a dumbass, boys. And then Ronnie Hughes and Damon Kemp come out. They surround the ring. Buster Gates, his music hits. He storms out of a chair. He chairs Ronnie Hughes. He chairs Damon Kemp. They retreat. And then Adam Pearce comes out. He says, well, since we've got a fight here, how about right now we'll have a tag team match. Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes of the Hurt Business against Buster Gates and Sami Zayn. And that match gets 79. Sure, I'll take that. But yeah, Sami does put Damon Kemp down with the haluva kick in 10:38. 88 for Buster, 80 for Sami, 68 for Damon, 74 for Ronnie. So yes, big win for Sami Zayn and Buster Gates. Sami and Buster celebrate their win. You know, they bump fists. They show a sign of respect. When Bobby Lashley runs out from the back, he spears Sami Zayn. He locks Sami Zayn in the Hurt Lock, but Buster Gates tries to fight him off. Ricochet jumps on Buster's back. And then Rufus and Nebo run out from the back as well. They toss Ricochet off. They chuck him off of Buster's back and, you know, take him out. He retreats to the outside. And then they all fight off Bobby Lashley, take him out. He gets sent to the outside as well. Then the World Championship is laying on the floor. Like, Lashley left it laying in the ring when he got sent to the outside. Buster picks up the belt. He sort of looks at the belt. And he goes to hand it over to Sami Zayn, and Sami like rejects it. He says, no, like, when I touch that championship and I hold that championship, I want it to be because it's mine, not because, you know, it was left lying around this ring. And then Sami picks up, then Sami gestures for Buster, put the belt back on the floor. Buster looks across at ringside. He looks at Bobby Lashley at ringside. He tosses the belt at Lashley. Lashley picks it up. And the Hurt Business scurry away. But yes, the Revolution are on Sami's side still in this war against the Hurt Business. Speaking of stables at war, we get a recap of last week where Kairi and Io injured Saya. I can't remember exactly what the exact injury was, but they beat up Saya basically, and Utami went to save Saya in the ring, but Julia stopped her. Was the gist of it. But then we cut to the Queendom locker room, and Saya's still being checked out for her injuries. And we see Julia and Utami arguing in the background. And Cammy gets in the middle and goes, ladies, I understand the frustration. Okay, we're currently a woman down, a soldier down in this war. And what happened to Saya last week, it wasn't ideal. But, my queen, I understand where Julia is coming from. We can't risk harm this close to WrestleMania. We need you at 100% for that main event, my queen, because if you're not, then we run the risk that Io might be able to beat you. And we can't be having that. We need you at 100% to make sure Io learns her lesson stepping to us. That being said, we need Utami to get in that ring so she can, get her confidence back. Because what happened to Saya last week, it sent us all, our heads are all out of loop. So tonight, Utami, we have somebody else we need you to teach a lesson. You need to go out there and you need to crush Kairi. And when you do that, that makes the Mega Sisters job at WrestleMania even easier. And Saya, she'll get better soon, but for now, what we did last week, protecting you. You're our queen. We can't risk damage to you. And Julia's like just sort of just standing behind Cammy and like just nods her head as she's speaking. And Utami sort of looks at Julia, sighs, and just walks out. But yeah, our main event tonight is Utami against Kairi, 1-on-1. Because she hasn't wrestled a match since Roadblock. The Women's World Champion hasn't wrestled in a month on TV. And God knows when this happens in real life, I'm the first to complain about it. So yeah, we need to get Utami out there in the ring. So she's going to wrestle with Kairi tonight. When they get tail of the tape, Bronson Reed, Oba Femi, two big men, you know, it's like Godzilla versus Kong style. I don't think there's actually a Godzilla and Kong movie out around this time, so I can't do like a tie-in or anything. But yeah, you know, the height, the weight, you know, the arm span, the reach, all of those big boy stats they always do when two big boys face each other. You know, audio roars in the background, you know, editing to make it look like a kaiju battle, all that shit. Because it will be Falls Count Anywhere at WrestleMania, because last time these two went at it, they broke the ring. So the best solution is to not contain it to a ring, I guess. So yeah, these two men, you know, two big horses, it sells itself. Bronson Reed, Oba Femi, US title, WrestleMania. $78. I'll take that. Singles match, Alex Shelley against Randy Orton. Randy, of course, picked up the win, 30 minutes and 6 of an RKO. 63 for Alex Shelley, 75 for Randy Orton. And yeah, so Randall Keefe with a big victory over one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions. It is singles action, so of course, the tag team specialist, you know, in law, should be having a hard time against the fucking 14-time world champion. But yes, Randy Orton does pick up the win. And then after the match, you know, he stands tall, the referee raises his arm, and he looks at Alex Shelley down on the ground. And you can see the gears turning in Randy's head as he looks at Shelley on the floor. And, you know, Chris Sabin gets in the ring, he, like, tries to help Shelley up, but Randy backs into the corner, like he's gonna go punt Alex Shelley in the head. That's when Ilya has to step in and go, "Hey, Randy, no! No!" And, like, has to just get in Randy's face, and it's like, "No!" And, like, orders Randy to shake his hand, and Randy does shake Alex Shelley's hand before quickly getting out of the ring. And yeah, suddenly the look on the face of Shelley and Sabin is a lot different, because you know, they thought this was respectful, but Randy's just tried to kick Alex Shelley in the head here. So, or at least teased it. At least teased that he's considered it. So, crazy. We then cut backstage. We see Shotzi. But she's still, like, somber after she got chewed out last time by Candice. And, like, she's there with a hoodie up. She's, like, sulking to herself. When Nova Nebula walks up to her. She goes, "Hey, girl." She just goes, "What?" She goes, "I've just seen you back here, and, I had to come and ask you something because I'm running out of options. Tonight, myself and a partner of my choosing are going to team up to face Charlotte Flair and her little lapdog Ariana, and I wondered if you want to team with me." Shotzi goes, "Really? Well, what made you pick me?" Okay. And Nova goes, "Well, it's because I feel like you've got untapped potential, and you're a great wrestler, Shotzi, and I think if you get this win tonight, because I'm going to beat Charlotte, I think that will surely help you get back on track, and you can eventually use that to try and get back at all the people that made you feel this way, made you feel lonely, like nobody wanted you around here. Okay?" And Shotzi goes, "You know what, sure. Why not? I'll team with you." So yeah, Nova and Shotzi against Charlotte and Ariana later on tonight. They cut back to the ring. And Kayla Braxton's in the ring. She says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the road to WrestleMania is now underway, featuring some big championship matches and some personal grudge matches, but there might be none more personal than this match. Joining me now, please welcome back to SmackDown the home of Women's World Champion, Dakota Kai." Dakota makes her way out. You know, shaking hands with fans on the way to the ring, gets into the ring with Kayla. And Kayla says, "Dakota, last week in London, you surprised the WWE Universe by making your first appearance since Roadblock, where you took out your former friend, Candice LeRae. Now, Candice, since Roadblock has been causing a lot of mayhem here on SmackDown, so you challenge her to WrestleMania, so what's your mindset going into WrestleMania? Dakota goes, well, Kayla, first of all, it's great to be back here. I honestly didn't think I'd be back so soon. I thought I was going to be out for longer after what happened to me back at Roadblock. The physical damage was not as bad as the mental damage I took that night. Because Candice, in a weird way, I understand her. I understand what she's going through. She sees me and EO raising each other's hands at Roadblock, and that's what sends her over the edge. And it got me thinking that maybe me and Candice, it didn't have to end like this. Maybe in a different world we could have hashed things out and we could have still been best friends. But now, to see how she's been acting, I don't see my former best friend Candice LeRae. I see a monster that I created. And so, it's a problem that I'm gonna have to deal with. Nobody else. So that's why I challenged Candice to WrestleMania. Not because I want to, but because I need to. Because this has gone on already too long. And who knows how many more people she's gonna hurt. And if I can put an end to it, then that's everything. So Candice, if you're back there, come on out. And then we hear Candice's voice. She goes, hey bestie, hey best friend. And she doesn't come out. She's on the Titantron. She's out somewhere. She goes, man, Chicago sure is a long flight back from London. I must have got my planes mixed up. Because I'm not in Chicago, Dakota. Because I'd love nothing more than to come down to that ring right now and punch you in your stupid little face. Making sure you don't make it to WrestleMania. But unfortunately I can't do that because I'm not in Chicago. I'm in Orlando. It's been a long time since I've been home, seen my kid, my friends. And hey, I thought I'd stop by a place that's also special to me. And the camera pans and she's outside Dakota Kai's house. And Dakota goes, Candice, come on, get away from there. He goes, relax. What do you take me for? I would never commit a crime. I would never break into someone's home uninvited. Oh, right. I'm not. She pulls out the key. Dakota gave her a house key 6 months ago. Over the summer. When they had the go home segment sending Tegan and Piper away from Raw. She pulls that out. She goes, well, I guess I'm not uninvited. So let's have a look around here, shall we? And Candice opens the front door. She walks into Dakota's house. You see Dakota start stressing. She sprints to the back. And then Candice sort of looks around. She looks at framed pictures of her and Candice and Tegan and Piper on the wall. She goes, oh, look at this. Look at us. All that time again. Before you stabbed me in the back. Nice to know you still keep this as a reminder for all the people you hurt along your way, okay? And she sort of smashes it on the floor. And she just takes a hammer and starts smashing up a bunch of personal belongings with pictures of Candice and Dakota on. So, oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna keep all this up because you wanna come home and remind yourself of the girl you used to be. Okay, well, this didn't have to happen, okay? I'm doing this now for myself. I'm taking myself back. You can't run and hide. You can't make myself look like like I'm the problem here. I'm the victim here. I'm trying to do what nobody else has the balls to do. I'm trying to do what needs to be done. But you can't accept that because, it's got to be all about Dakota, right? Well, guess what? It can be all about Dakota. Just taking myself out of your life. And at WrestleMania, I can take you out and I can send you back here to wait here forever. Because if you thought Roadblock was bad by the time me and you were through you'll never be the same. Look at what you did to me. And I'm not going to rest. I'm not going to stop this until you are broken. And you are just like me. And then she just leaves the house and, like, drives away. But leaves the front door wide open, of course. We then cut back to Lord Bando and Swerve. He goes, boss, you and Drew McIntyre, huh? You know, just over 2 weeks away. He goes, yeah, I know. Yeah, been waiting for this one for a long ass time. Me and Drew back and forth for months now. It's gonna be great to finally shut his ass up in the street fight. And he goes, boss, I know it's a bit weird coming from me, but, you know, Drew McIntyre, he put his hands on me. And I know the kind of man Drew McIntyre is now, and it's the kind of man you've been fighting for months. I want to say, are you really sure that you want to do this? And Swerve goes, Bando, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. But listen here, if what Drew did to you was enough to put you off, don't come to WrestleMania. Because I'm going to do to Drew worse than he did to you. And if you can't bear to see that, or bear to see me go through hell, then it's best you stay behind. He goes, you know I'm not going to do that, boss. You know it's me and you, ride or die until the very end. And what Drew McIntyre did to me, I won't forget it for a long time, but it'll be nothing compared to what you do to him, boss. And I need to be there to see it. Because this isn't just about you and Drew anymore. I'm now a part of this. This is now my business. So I will be there with you, boss, at WrestleMania, and I will see you bring about Drew McIntyre's end. So go, attaboy. I know I could count on you. So yeah, Bando just giving a nice warning to Swerve about how dangerous Drew McIntyre really is. But, you know, they're both going to be there at WrestleMania. So we'll see. AEW tag match. Nova and Shotzi have excellent chemistry together. That's interesting, but I don't actually think it's going to be anything that I'll be doing anything with, at least not anytime soon, because this was a one-off. But yes, Charlotte and Ariana do pick up the win. Charlotte submits Shotzi with the figure 8 in 9 minutes and 3. I imagine at some point Nova just walks out on the match and Charlotte taps Shotzi out. 64 for Ariana, 88 for Charlotte, 74 for Shotzi, and a 90 for Nova. So yes, nice victory for Charlotte and Ariana, heading into Charlotte's match with Nova at WrestleMania. We then cut back, and, you know, Dakota is panicking. He's talking to Anna Pierce. Have you called the police? Has she left? Is she out of my house? And then Pierce is like, we sent them on. They're on their way, you know, to track her down. Everything seems to all be okay, apart from, you know, the property damage that she caused. She goes, I'm so sorry about this. You know, I was gone for a month, and now she's gone crazy, and I can't help but feel guilty about it all. Pierce goes, listen, don't worry about it. This is wrestling. Things happen. All we need from you is to go to WrestleMania and stop this. Because if you beat her at WrestleMania, then surely you can wake her up and bring her back to the Candice LeRae you all know. And then he walks off, and she goes, I sure do hope, but I don't know. I think my friend is too far gone. And then she sort of turns around, and Io is there just waiting. Io and Kairi. And then they obviously pop. We take a couple of seconds, because anytime Io and Dakota share screens, it's aura. And Io just says, I forgot to say thank you for Roadblock. I didn't trust you, but you did the right thing. Dakota goes, yeah, sure seemed like it at the time. And then Io goes, listen, you did the right thing, and at WrestleMania, you need to do the right thing again. 'Cause I will. And if you win at WrestleMania, and I win at WrestleMania, who knows? Maybe next time we meet, we can make it a trilogy. She just walks off. And Dakota, after stressing out all night, needed some reassuring, basically. That because Candice is kind of gaslighting her into thinking that she's the villain. But Io is here, and Big Io, of all people, is the voice of reason for Dakota Kai. We then see Jericho. He's backstage. He goes, I'm so happy to be back in the United States because it means one thing, boys and girls. It means I'm free of those stupid soccer players thinking they're going to make a name at the Learning Tree's expense. Well, guess what? WrestleMania is just around the corner, and I am Mr. WrestleMania. I have been among many, many WrestleManias. And this year, that Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy's coming home with me. It's coming home to the Learning Tree. And when I do, I'm going to take that opportunity that comes with it to become world champion. And who knows? Maybe if I'm in that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, maybe you'll see me elsewhere on WrestleMania. Maybe I'll even answer John Cena's open challenge. And then Carmelo Hayes walks and he goes, hey, old man. Listen, Chris. Years ago, I'd have been excited that you were a part of the same WrestleMania match that I am, but this Learning Tree crap you're doing right now, this ain't Chris Jericho, this ain't Y2J. But I'm kind of content with it, because you see, I'm going to be the one who wins that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I'm going to be the one to get back to the World Championship. And when it comes to you talking about maybe wrestling John Cena, only one of us here has beaten John Cena at WrestleMania, and it ain't you, Chris. So a spot like that will be wasted on you. But me, I don't miss. This year's WrestleMania has sort of come and gone without Carmelo Hayes. But trust me, 2025, it will be my year. '77, sure. But the 78 and the 76, we'll take that. Penta, his singles debut against Kofi, he picks up the victory in 12:43. 76 for Penta, 78 for Kofi. So yeah, nice little victory for Penta here. And yeah, the Death Triangle with a victory over the New Day again here tonight. After the match, Kofi leaves the ring. He waits with Woods and Big E on the outside as the Death Triangle celebrate. And then Xavier Woods locks eyes with Neville. And Neville sort of just laughs as him and Woods lock eyes, and he goes over to the ropes and holds sits on the middle rope and holds the ropes open come on here and fight me, bitch. And you can see Woods wants to fight, but eventually he does think better of it and leaves. And then Rey Fenix also leans over the ropes and he points at Big E as if to say, next week Penta had Kofi, so next week it's going to be Rey Fenix and Big E. We then cut backstage to Shotzi and Nova. Shotzi's sort of hiding. And Nova goes, where is she? Where is she? You. And Shotzi goes, what? What happened? Okay, I'm sorry for whatever I did wrong out there. She goes, yeah, you will be, okay? Because now Charlotte's going to walk around here thinking her shit don't stink because she got a win over me. Okay? You know what? I was wrong. I was wrong to maybe give you the opportunity to redeem yourself and maybe give you a little bit of that guiding light that you needed because, everybody else abandoned you. But now, everyone else was right about you. You are an embarrassment. You'll never be good enough. You'll never have any friends. Nobody will ever want you around here. So why don't you just quit? Why don't you go and find yourself a new hobby? Because God knows being here on SmackDown isn't your calling, Shotzi, because you're a loser. And now your loser stain has left its mark on me. And I'm going to wash that off at WrestleMania when I finally put that Nepo baby Charlotte Flair down. But I don't think you're ever going to shake yours off. Because everybody who's ever told you that you weren't good enough was right. I can't believe I wasted my time with you. And she just walks off, and Shotzi, of course, at this point, she's just numb to it all. She's like, yeah, I suck. Nobody wants me around, sure. Then cut to Gorilla. Thea Hale's all fired up. And Kayla Braxton's there. Andre Taylor's hyping her up. She goes, Thea, coming up next, you're going to be in action here tonight on SmackDown. What's going through your mind? He goes, what's going through my mind, Kayla, is that 2 years ago, Mr. Chase won that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He won that trophy to chase you, and we've still got a replica of that trophy hanging up in the classroom to this day. And this year, not only is there a trophy on the line, there's a Shirai World Championship on the line. I need that, Kayla. I need that trophy and that championship opportunity so bad. So tonight, I'm going to get myself all fired up, prove that I'm a big grown-ass woman. I'm going to beat whoever's going to be out there waiting for me, and I'm going to go on to WrestleMania, and I'm going to be the second Chase U member to win a Battle Royal, and then I'm going to become the Women's World Champion. Andre goes, good luck, Thea. Bring it home. And then Thea Hale goes out for her match. Her match is against Jordynne Grace. Gets a 70 rating. Jordynne Grace pins her with a fall from Grace in 6:43. 73 for Jordynne, 60 for Thea. Her gimmick gets poor. That's not ideal, but sure. So yeah, remember when I debuted Thunder Rosa, and I said that there was AEW cuts, and they were all women, and there was one of them that was very convenient. That was Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace had been in AEW, I think I had her in NXT at some point in the series a couple of years ago, but then when her contract came up, AEW put an offer in for her, and because she was in developmental, she left and went to AEW, and then they just released her. So she was back on the market, and she's back, and she's here on SmackDown, and she beats Thea Hale in 6:43. So yeah, she's made a statement in her first night, picking up a victory here on SmackDown. But yeah, Jordynne Grace was the other woman who I picked up from those AEW women's releases. There may have been another one, but they might be in NXT if they are. Thunder Rosa and Jordynne Grace are the only two main roster names that will immediately be jumping into the series. But like Thunder Rosa, she's come by so late that she'll probably just be in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania because, it's too late to factor her into major plans as of right now. After the match, though, Kayla gets back into the ring and she goes, wow, Jordynne Grace, first of all, welcome to SmackDown. Welcome back to WWE. Big victory here tonight in your return to SmackDown. Or your SmackDown debut, even. She goes, I'm picking up right where I left off. A few years ago, I was an NXT Women's Champion. And I was waiting for that call up to Raw or SmackDown, but eventually I took my talents elsewhere. But now, Big Mama Pump is back in WWE, and I'm here to stay on SmackDown. And with WrestleMania just around the corner, what better time to make a name for myself? Because I'm going to go to WrestleMania, I'm going to win that Battle Royal, and within 2 months, Jordynne Grace will be the Women's World Champion. Fatal Influence then cut her off. And Zelina's like, well, look at who it is. Look who's come crawling back to us. Hey, Jordynne. Don't know if you know, things have changed around here. You see, Zelina Vega and Fallon Henley, we are Fatal Influence, and we run SmackDown's women's division. You can't just walk in and, get a bye and a path straight to the top and the red carpet rolled out to you, because we are the gatekeepers. We decide who makes it and who doesn't here on SmackDown. If you want that influence and those eyes on you, Jordynne, we'll be happy to welcome you to this brand. To our brand. But as far as you going to WrestleMania and winning that Battle Royal, that's not going to happen because we're going to win it. And you're going to be sent with the rest of the newbies to the back of the line. And Jordynne goes, wow. Hello to you too. But I just won a match just now, but I'm still raring to go. I'm still ready for another fight. So if either one of you two want to pick a fight with me right now, go ahead. And Fallon goes, Zelina does. And Zelina goes, I don't. I mean, I do. Not that I'm scared of you. It's just that I'm not really in a fighting mood. And I say I'm not dressed to fight. And Jordynne goes, oh, I see. Well, how about I make that choice for you? And then she lays out Zelina Vega. Fallon Henley runs out of the ring. And Jordynne Grace drops Zelina Vega as well. And yeah, Jordynne Grace now here on SmackDown. Big pickup. Another stable pickup and a much-needed addition to the SmackDown Women's Division of somebody who is not in the Queendomverse. That's exactly what Ember Moon is, but she ended up getting sucked into the Queendomverse. So, yeah, like, that is a problem. Like, I know SmackDown has a lot of women, but a lot of them are in the same story, which, like, obviously I love, but because it means that there's a lot of women doing stuff, but like, when I try to go for 3 women's matches and 4 men's matches per show, and, like, SmackDown specifically has always been the issue of finding out what that 3rd women's match is going to be, because, you know, again, I've got my designated, this is the Queendom story match this week, which covers, like, a good chunk of the division, most of the time. So having another name here who can carry stuff is good. I guess Jordynne Grace is here on SmackDown. And again, Angel and Andrade vignette, you know, just doing their thing, you know, their lucha heritage, and, you know, yeah, they're making waves in the SmackDown Tag Division. You know, Andrade came back a bit too late to really get a shot for WrestleMania, but yeah, surely in the next few months we're going to see the rise of Andrade and Angel Garza as a tag team here on SmackDown. About fucking time, too, because I believe they were on the Slammies for most underutilized superstar last year, and they probably will end up on there again, because they still haven't done much. But yeah, you know, seeing Andrade and Phoenix in real life has inspired me to, you know, actually do something with these two. '96. There we fucking go. Big Gunts doing his thing. And yes, it is Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium who defeat the Creed brothers in a fucking banger. Gunther pins Julius Creed with a golden bomb in 16:21. The Creed's another team who... There's a lot of potential men on the SmackDown tag roster right now. The Creed's among them. The Labyrinth as well. Yeah, like a bunch... Like, there's the pieces are here for a really good SmackDown tag division next year. Plus, obviously, if there's a draft or like a shake-up or anything, new names can come over. I have a good idea of what I want the division to look like after the draft, and I think SmackDown is going to end up being a bit more tag focused, you know, like IRL. So yeah, that should be a good opportunity for some of these teams to step up. But yeah, Imperium pick up the victory here tonight. Big Gunny because of 97, 84 for Kaiser, 85 for Brutus, and 81 for Julius. Next week, the road to WrestleMania continues. It will be the penultimate show before WrestleMania next week, and we have 3 singles matches set for that show. The first, the singles SmackDown debut of Rey Fenix. He will be in action against the New Day's Big E on that show. Plus, following their interaction backstage later on tonight, the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, will face Carmelo Hayes in singles action. And, again, following their interaction earlier on tonight, SmackDown's newest signing, Jordynne Grace, will be back in action. She will face off against Zelina Vega of Fatal Influence on next week's episode of SmackDown. Plus, WrestleMania, we have one more match to officially announce. It was the one that was made official at the end of last week's show. Sami Zayn will challenge the almighty Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania in Las Vegas in just over 2 weeks' time. You don't want to miss it. Before our main event, we see Johnny Gargano getting all warmed up when Dakota Kai walks up to him. She goes, "Hey," and he goes, "Hey, Dakota, you know, what's up?" Just what's up? You know exactly what's up, okay? Your wife invited herself into my house, destroyed all of my things, and is sort of going a bit crazy. This is the first time I've got to see you since Roadblock. Johnny goes, listen, Dakota. I know Candice right now is a little bit, out of it. I'm aware. I haven't really seen her as much as I would like to, as one man would like to see his wife as it is. But the reason why, I tried to get in touch with you, and I just want to let you know that obviously I'm not going to choose sides here, because I'm not going to choose against my wife, because, it's my wife, but because I like you, and I consider us friends, I'm not going to turn my back on you just because Candice did. But it's your business. Okay, I've got a match coming up on Velocity to try and get myself a Cruiserweight Championship match at WrestleMania that I'm focused on. And I'm just going to keep myself out of this. Okay, this is you and Candice's business. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Because, well, yeah, you said that for the last 6 months, and look at what we got. Look what that got us, huh? Got us here, Johnny. So, I understand you don't want to choose against your wife, but this isn't a choice between your wife and me, Johnny. This is a choice between right and wrong. And I thought I had respect for you to pick the right side, regardless of who was on the wrong side. But maybe I was wrong. And Cat just walks away, and Johnny's sort of a little bit annoyed at that. He's like, huh? Okay. I see. 90 rated main event. Utami picks up the victory over Kairi with the hijack bomb in 1309. The Megasis sticking her hoof in and screwing Kairi. So yeah, world champion wrestling on television. How about that? 94 for Utami, 81 for Kairi. So yeah, nice win for the women's world champion just 2 weeks before her WrestleMania main event. After the match, though, the Queen of Omega girls storm into the ring. They sort of Kairi's laid out on the floor. She's stumbling to her feet, and the entirety of Queen of Omega, including the hurt Saya, are just in the ring standing over her. And she we get the shot of Kairi's face. She sort of realizes she's in trouble. That's when Io rushes out from the back. She chases off, I guess, Julia and Utami, and then as Utami and Julia stumble out of the ring, Utami pulls Saya to safety to save her from more harm. And then the Megasis is in the ring. She gets 2-on-1. Kairi and Io both have kendo sticks. They start wailing on her. They send her to the outside too. And then Yoko goes to leave, and Io sort of just grabs her and stops her, and looks across at Queen Omega on the outside. And then Julia is the one now. Now her friend is the one in danger. She's the one who's hey, I want to go in there and help her. But Utami again, just like Julia did last week, sort of sticks her arm out in front of Julia, just shakes her head, and ushers her to the back. And you can see Julia's very frustrated because she's well, I'm not the one wrestling at WrestleMania, so why can't I go and help? But she's not allowed. Utami overrules her, and Io and Kairi do to Yoko as they did to Saya last week, holding 2 fingers up. 2 Queendom Omega members taken out. Well, not taken out, but hurt. Not at 100%. No longer a threat, basically. A soul for a soul. You did to Ember and Asuka as we do to you. 86. Sure, we'll take that. More as what you thought of the show. Do let you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you on the other side now for Velocity. Velocity kicks off with a 52 rated match. It's the first of 3 High Wires qualifying matches. If you can remember that far back, because it has been a while. Last week, RJ City announced the start of a series of matches, 5 to be precise, to set up a High Wires 5-way for next week's episode of Velocity that will determine who faces Cedric Alexander at WrestleMania for the belt. Mustafa Ali and RKJ qualified last week with wins over Angelico and Joaquin Wilde. And we have 3 of those matches tonight, plus Dudley Davis will defend the Speed Championship in an open challenge. But yes, Hook defeats Shawn Legacy, and I'm kind of glad about his, because when I called Shawn Legacy up from NXT for this, like, I borrowed him from NXT, and I was debating putting him over and, like, having him in the match until I picked Hook, and then I was like, well, Hook's gonna win, because the idea of Hook having to navigate a Ultimate X match was funny in my brain. So, yeah, he's in it. And I'm kind of glad now, because it says apparently Shawn Legacy was rusty. The recent update imported a bunch of WWE ID guys and like NIL guys and LFG guys. Like a bunch of new people are now in the game because of they were added to the database because of like the latest one. And Shawn Legacy was already in the database. I just didn't have him signed, so he obviously hasn't wrestled for a long time, and ergo he's rusty. So Hook winning was the right choice. So if you see Legacy wrestling either dark matches or on Velocity like every week, it's probably just because I want to get the rust off him. But yes, Hook will join Mustafa Ali and RKJ in that match, along with two other people that will be determined tonight. The one being the main event, which is Johnny Gargano against Zachary Ben-Shahur, and the other one is the former Speed champion David Martin taking on Oro Mensah. Speaking of tournaments to crown number one contenders, we cut to like a pre-tape outside of the broadcast of Leon Slater and Javon Evans sort of just at a cafe, because 2 weeks ago them and Saquon Sugars defeated Grayson Waller and the Velocities to earn the right to face Hideo Watami, Hanzo, and Takubo next week, with the winners going on to WrestleMania to wrestle for the Trios Championships. But Saquon got hurt, so he's out. So, you know, they're the young OGs, as they're calling themselves, are regrouping at a cafe. And Javon goes, you know, it sucks about Saquon, man. You know, we may have to, you know, give WrestleMania a miss this year. And Leon goes, hey, Javon, look at us. We're young OGs, okay? 20 years old each. We were going to be some of the youngest ever to compete at WrestleMania. We can't just throw that away because Saquon got hurt, you know. All love to the man. I hope he gets better soon, but we gotta keep going forward. We gotta try to find a new young OG. And Javon goes, I just don't know where to look. I mean, there could be a guy in this very cafe that is a young OG. That's when Cappuccino Jones. He was sipping a cappuccino behind them the whole time. He like lowers the newspaper. He goes, I couldn't help but overhear you boys say you're looking for a third cruiserweight competitor to join your team for a spot at WrestleMania. I want to fucking go to WrestleMania. And Javon goes, hey, who are you? He goes, oh, sorry, Jones. Cappuccino Jones. I'm a wrestler just like you, WWE ID, and I'd love to make my WrestleMania debut this year. So if you need a third guy next week, you say, I'll be there. And he sort of just gets up and leaves. And then Javon and Leon sort of look at each other and go, oh, guess we've got nobody else. So yeah, Cappuccino Jones will fill in for Saquon Sugars next week as they face the NXT Japan trio for the shot at WrestleMania. Can the young OGs get there, or will it be the NXT Japan trio who are yet to be named? 78. Okay, so they don't seem to click, but I'll still take that, to be fair. Oro Mensah and David Martin. David Martin, fresh off losing his Speed Championship, is looking to take that next step up. He does defeat Oro Mensah in this qualifier, so he will be in high wires next week. He beats him with the Arc of Triumph in 15-26. 76 for both men, so a 78 for that match, especially given the negative chemistry ding, is definitely quite good. I'll take that. They get Dudley coming to the ring. He says, last week in my hometown, I finally captured my first singles championship here on the main roster. It's the WWE Speed Championship, which proves that I am not only a big strong boy, but I'm a fast boy too. But David Martin went a long time without defending this championship. He only defended it because he wanted to try and prove a point in London. But that's not going to be Dudley. Dudley fought for ages to get his hands on a singles championship, and I'm going to defend this thing as often as I can. We call it the Speed Championship. These defenses are going to come quick and they're going to come fast. So anybody back there tonight who wants to go, come out here and see if you can hang with the big fast boy. And who answers the open challenge? Why, it's Mr. Iguana. him and Lajeska make their way out. The crowd obviously doesn't cheer because they don't know who this guy is yet, but they're going to. Don't you worry about it. I've actually had him signed the AAA this whole time. I just didn't know who he was, so never used him. But here he is. Dudley does win with the Dudley device in 3:59. But yeah, 87 for Dudley, 42 for Mr. Iguana. For his having no popularity, that is quite a good performance from him. But yes, we get our first Mr. Iguana. So it's a couple of months too early because, you know, Worlds Collide in June and it's April where he became popular. But he's here. I saw him in my developmental tab and I couldn't not send him out there. So here he is. Mr. Iguana has officially made it to Challenge Run. An 83 rated main event. Great chemistry from Gargano and Zaki Ben-Shahur. And the last spot in High Wires does go to Johnny Gargano. He submits Zaki Ben-Shahur with the Gargano escape in 14-13. But when he locks the submission in, he's got like an extra determination. You know, there's a lot on Johnny's mind right now. And he takes a lot of that frustration that's on his mind out on Zaki Ben-Shahur. And he doesn't wrestle heel. Like, he's just frustrated. And like, he knows he's got to do something for himself rather than just, get himself dragged into his wife's drama all the time. So, yeah, he fires back, he gets a submission victory, and he rounds out the field for the High Wires match next week. So next week, the two Velocity matches WrestleMania kickoff will be determined when RKJ, Mustafa Ali, Johnny Gargano, David Martin, and whoever won the opening match tonight. Oh, I'm Hook. Battle in High Wires. And then we'll have a trios match, which is Hideo Batami, Takebo Kubo, and Hanzo Kaneko against the Young OGs with their new friend, Cappuccino Jones. And that ends. Velocity gets a 78. Sure, pretty fun little show, because I did have the fun Young OGs angle and the Dudley promo. But yeah, what matters was on year 4 of the show, mainly of SmackDown. And I'll see you next time for Raw. See you then.